Oh boy, an update video. We got some new information about those missing Hawaiian locomotives. And by new information, I mean, yes, new information, also some corrected information. Now, I want everyone to understand that I was working off some assumptions last time, as well as the very limited amount of data that I was able to dig up. And for those of you that missed the previous video, you should go watch that, because I'm not re-explaining everything again, especially since it was partially wrong. Now, the part about the tsunami hitting the island and basically ruining the entire railway is totally true. However, the part about the locomotives being taken away by the tsunami was not. That was wrong, and that's my fault. Like I said, I was working off of limited data, so I had to make some educated guesses, and based on the timing of them being declared lost at sea, I had assumed that they'd just been lost in the tsunami, but that isn't correct. What actually happened, well, first of all, I want to thank Ocean View Locomotive and Machine Company, not an actual company, I think, I'm not sure, it's a screen name on Discord, who was in my Discord server, and shared not only the only picture of these engines, which are said to be them, though I can't see their numbers, so I can't confirm that, but I'll take it, but also did deeper digging and figured out that actually, they weren't lost in the tsunami, they were lost on an oceanic shipping barge. Now, this information can be sourced, beyond the generous Discord member who clued me in on this, to Gerald M. Best, who was a railroad historian, who passed away back in 1985. He wrote multiple books on different subjects, and cataloged a substantial collection of old photographs, negatives, blueprints, and other things. He also was responsible for saving a specific steam locomotive from Hawaii named Ola'a, and he donated her to the Smithsonian Institution in 1977. So all around, a good guy when it comes to railroad history, and within his books, the information about the 3 missing engines can be found, though even there, as far as I know, it's pretty vague in terms of the details. There's a lot we still don't know. What we do know is that these locomotives were being shipped. They weren't taken away by the tsunami, but they were being shipped over to the mainland to be scrapped. Yeah, they were destined for the scrap heap, apparently. And, I mean, I can believe that. That's not tremendously surprising, but they never made it. At some point during the voyage, the barge they were on capsized, and all 3 engines sank to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Now, what can we glean from this new data? Does it help narrow down the search? No. No, it makes it infinitely worse. The search radius we were working with was already pretty big, but now it's this big. That's how big it is. Mind you, there are other things, larger things that have been lost in this general vicinity of the world that have also never been found, like USS Oklahoma, a battleship. She was also being towed from Hawaii to breakers over at San Francisco Bay, or rather her hull was. There wasn't much left of her. But she was lost in transit, sinking to the bottom, and she has still never been found. And the engines are much the same way. They capsized at some point, and went to the bottom, and haven't been found. And that's a friggin' problem, because none of the data that I have yet tells me where the barge capsized. If we knew where that barge had gone over, we might be able to at least narrow down generally where they could be. But right now, it stands at somewhere between here, and that's basically impossible. We are never gonna find these freaking engines. So yeah, but I did want to make a follow-up, even though what I have now doesn't tell us much. It makes finding them even more difficult. But at least we know how they were lost properly this time. They weren't taken away by the tsunami, they were being shipped, and they fell in the ocean and have never been heard of since. And yeah, that's gonna be difficult to correct. What if they wound up falling, like, alongside Oklahoma? And the 3 engines in Oklahoma are just chilling down there. That would be... The odds of that happening are pretty remote, but it would be pretty funny. It's just one of those thoughts, anyway. But yeah, that's all I got more right now. I'd like to search further into Gerald M. Best's data and his records to see what he has, though his entire collection went to the California State Railroad Museum, and any books he's written about the subject are long since out of print and are violently expensive, at least one going for as high as $300 for one book, which is just insane. So that kind of puts a notable wall in the research department, but that's what we're working with. There's 3 locomotives somewhere between Hawaii and the western United States. Good luck. Till next time, this is Darkness, and I bid you all a fond farewell.